I just used Claude Design to make me 10 different apps in the span of right around 10 minutes. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you could do the same to basically become an app building machine that can ship these things in just mere seconds. I've built a lot of different things in just 10 minutes, so let me show you guys exactly what I did. But first, what exactly is Claude? Well, Claude is this AI platform. If you don't know it, have you been living under a rock? But specifically, the tool I use to build these things is called Claude Design. It's this new tool built by Anthropic that basically allows you to insert into plain English text, or I guess whatever language, exactly what you want to see as some sort of app or some sort of website, and it'll get to building. I, for example, had some idea, you know what? I've got all these different plants in my house. What is a good way for me to keep track of which ones need watering at which date, because it's all different, and which ones have been watered? So what I decided to do is I went to Claude Design. I gave it a title. I want a houseplant care app. Here's exactly the prompt that I inserted, and this is the results that it brought me. It gave me some sort of app here, some sort of website that can keep track of exactly every single plant I've got left in my house, in the hallway, the living room, etc. Exactly which ones are overdue for some watering, or due soon, or who are on track. I, of course, can change the layout if I wanted to a more cozy design, or I don't actually want the species, or I don't want the location. I can skip those in there. And so what was the idea here? Well, it took about, I'm going to say 15 seconds or so for me to come up with this prompt. I inserted it, and it gave me some sort of website that potentially somebody would pay money for. Now, depending on how much I like this, I could press the button on the top right, which you can't perfectly see. Here you go. On the top right, to hand it off to Claude Code to actually code it into a fully working app that you could use on your phone or whatever. But for the sake of this video, I just want to quickly showcase some of the designs that I was able to scoop up in just the span of a few minutes, because I did these all at the exact same time. I just went to 10 different Claude Design tabs, put in a couple of different prompts. Here's, for example, a tracker that I made. As you can see right here, it's basically this pulse track is what I called it, a habit tracker. All right. Every single time I walk for 50 minutes, I mark it as done for every single day, and it keeps track of how many days you've done it in a row. In this case here, 12 days in a row. And as you can see, also it was able to build me 3 different designs, because you should never accept the first draft. I can also get it in some different accents if I were to want it that way. Or design number 3, which, as you can see right here, is a sleep core app. It keeps track of exactly how long I sleep per each day. Whenever I go to sleep, I press sleep mode activated, and as you can see, I've got a couple of different fonts for it, or I can change the sleep score right here, which becomes either restless or yabba dabba dabba doo. As we can see right here, the text is slightly below where we want it to be. So if we wanted to change that, all we'd have to do is just use the box where my face is at right now and tell Claude Design right here that the text, the restorative, or whatever it says right there in that box, is not perfectly aligned, and it'll get you a small little redesign. But for this case here, I'm not really maybe too big a fan of a sleep core app. I've got everything tracked over in my Whoop, so I don't really care for it too much. Then again, I could actually integrate my Whoop into a better sleep tracker type of app, so it could potentially be interesting. At the same time though, I was thinking, you know what, I've got a lot of recipes, right? I've got a lot of different things I cook. Well, I don't really cook, but you get the idea. I want to make some sort of recipe book where I can insert, maybe import a lot of different recipes from the internet, look through them, and capture them for what I want to make this week. For example, a miso glazed salmon, as you can see right here. These are the ingredients. This is exactly how to cook it, and I can add it to the list for this week, or I could save the recipe, which could be pretty cool, especially if I want to sort for, hey, I want some recipes that are under 30 minutes, or I just want to see my favorites, or I want to type in exactly some of the ingredients that I've got. For example, I got tomato, garlic, whatever. I can type it in right here, and it'll find different recipes in this list that I could cook. Pretty freaking cool. If I wanted to work this out further, well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Anyway, right now we've got the expense tracker app. Ooh, that could be pretty interesting, right? I've been playing around with this for a while, because the basic idea is whenever I've got an expense, right? I've got, for example, $200 worth of, I don't know, walls that I got. This belongs to the shopping here. We've done $200 worth of walls. You can see it's been added right here to our sheet, and so it changes our entire budget. We can take a look at this for every single month. We can do dark and light phases. You can see the button is not responsive, but we can make it that way. We've got a couple of different accents for right now, or bars instead of a donut. You can see this is a pretty useful app. Most likely I could turn this into a pretty interesting functioning app that I could sell for a couple of dollars every single month. I think a lot of people could take a subscription to this, or it could just be useful for myself. I often say, You do not need to purchase any sort of app anymore. You do not need any sort of subscription anymore, because take a look at what I've just built right here. I built myself a gym workout tracker app in the span of 1 minute. All of these in the span of 10 minutes, right? Because I ran all these at the same time. This right here can keep track of whenever you start your workout by pressing that button. You see, it takes care of exactly how much time has elapsed since you started this pull, back, and biceps workout. How many pounds did you do pull-ups for? Or how many pounds did you do or how many reps did you do your barbell rows? You can see every single time you take care of another step, you can either press on the bottom right there, next exercise, or you can finish the workout. I finished it right here. It keeps track of exactly what I did. Maybe I hit a PR. It'll keep track of that for every single day. Absolutely beautiful, because I was able to make this in just a few minutes, and potentially I could work this further out into an app that I like, or more importantly, I could enhance my own workflow. Now, I was also thinking, and this is this funny part about Claude Design, every single thing you've been thinking of making, every sort of app, you can now turn into an actual working prototype in a span of a minute. I was thinking, you know what, I read so many books, but I kind of forget where I am in each book, and Audible, it takes care of it for me. But if you've got a physical book, on which page am I? Am I going to fold the little corner like we used to do in the old times? No. I can actually just talk to my freaking AI on my phone, and it'll take care of where exactly in the book I am left, right? Or I've got left. I can just quickly press add 10 pages, add a few pages, mark as finished. I can change the colors of this app if I don't like it too much. Let's just say I like this orange type of theme. I can look through all the books that I've got. I can see which ones I've finished, which ones I've still got yet to go. This is also nice for just keeping track of which books you've had, or potentially when you've had them, because you can also, of course, specify exactly what you want this tracker to take care of. And potentially we could add the friend element, that all of our friends can also keep track of which exact books they're busy with at which page they are. So there's some sort of competition or some sort of fun social element to it as well. We can reward people for how many books they've read, all that type of stuff. Could be some really cool stuff. I already talked at the start about the plan tracker, which I think could be pretty cool. What is even more interesting is something I was able to draft in just a few seconds. What I've got right here is something pretty cool. I'm planning to go to Japan, for example, in a month from now. Let's just say, right? What I was able to build right here is a itinerary builder. As you can see right there, my prompt was a travel itinerary app for a 5-day Tokyo trip. Showed day-by-day cards, etc. And so it built out for me what I should be doing every single day, the temperature around these days, how far I'm going to be walking, how many stops I'm going to be making, which city I'm going to be in, and what that looks like on some sort of map. The map is kind of stupid, but I can just press open in maps for a clearer view. I can change it to dotted or lined, compact or more comfy. I like the compact style more. I perhaps like the different accents, maybe noir, or let's just say forest here. I like the green maybe a little bit more. We can keep it with clay though for you for right now. And you can see every single time I've finished a day, I can perhaps click a little button on the right that kind of ends off the day, so I can move on with the next, move on with the next. Hey, this is again something that I could use in my personal life, and I now do not have to play some sort of app trip planner for. Now, at the same time, if I'm feeling this type of way every single day, I can keep track of that in a mood board. A couple of different things I could do with that. Maybe I want weather, maybe I want faces, maybe I want something else like an abstract type of thing. Let's just say we stick to classic. Maybe I like the monos or the black and white for all the days. Maybe I like the sunrise, so kind of like purpley, orangey days. Maybe just like the warm or actually the cool. You can see I can take care of all these different options right there. And this is basically a mood board where the better I feel, the better it'll be reflected right there. It'll keep track of all the different ways I've felt throughout the last week, let's say, the last month, whatever. I can click through them all and I can go towards any different month if I wanted to. Again, I did not now have to pay some sort of mood app for it, and I could ship this if I really wanted to. And most interesting out of all, actually, I think, some sort of focus timer. I see a lot of people download timers of sorts of these little brick your iPhone, brick your device type of apps, which again, most likely can just be built in the span of a few seconds using AI. You can change every single part of it, short break, long break, and how many exact minutes it should have. We can start the timer right here. We can reset. We can go towards the next. You can see all of this in a span of just a couple of minutes. And if one of these was to my satisfaction, all I'd have to do is go towards that app, go towards the top right, and you can see a little button that says share. Now, as you press that button, there's a button that says hand off to Claude Code. Now, what that button does when you hand it off to Claude Code is that it's going to start working on building a proper backend for it. Again, I did not give it any sort of prompt. This is just what happens when you press hand off to Claude Code. It'll know exactly what you want to achieve. You want it to be a clickable, actual working app. Claude Code understands it, and it will actually get to work for you. Now, every single time you want something tweaked, maybe you actually want this to be hosted, you can just tell Claude Code exactly what you want to do, and it'll get to start working. And so you can basically right now take any sort of concept. You know what? I've got 10 different apps ideas into 10 different demos in a span of right around 10 minutes that you can again then turn into a real functioning app in the real world in probably right around half an hour using Claude Design and Claude Code, and potentially Canva if you wanted to use it in the process, or potentially a couple of revisions may add a couple of minutes, but you get it. AI tools are getting so absolutely insane, especially the past couple of weeks. The updates have been so freaking massive, especially because you're now able to turn whatever you're thinking into your head into actual working products that potentially people would pay tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars for. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you want more tools, tips, tricks, or videos like this, make sure you go ahead and press that like button, and of course subscribe to the channel because I post stuff like this every single day.